Random thought. Is shacking up a good idea?
Well, you know what I think. Thumbs up.
Hey, welcome to the show. I'm Yanni Rude.
And I'm just Terryl. You ever been out somewhere and overheard two people having crazy conversations?
Well, we are those people. We've been having these conversations since college.
Yep, it's the Regular Guys Random Thoughts Podcast, episode 134. Be sure to like, subscribe, rate, and leave a review.
So many things come out about this, and I think this is always a recurring topic, right? Shacking up. You know, you heard your parents and your grandparents talk about, you're not supposed to do that. But, you know, those were the laws in the times of the past. Has time changed, and is shacking up now a good idea? Because you hear some people say, well, you got to test drive before you buy.
Yeah, you got to see what they're like. You got to see what their mannerisms like. What are the things, how are they at home? How do they manage their bills, finances, stress? You could be dealing with someone's representative for years until y'all actually live together. So I see both sides of it.
Okay, so here's the question in that, though, because here's the thing I have about that, in the sense of you end up shacking up with somebody, it doesn't work out. Now y'all have to decide who moves, who leaves. You got to go get a new place, who takes what. So it's like except only thing you don't get is the alimony. So why not just get married instead of shacking up?
Because you're still not sure. It's easier to walk away from a breakup than it is a divorce. And with a divorce, you have financial stuff involved, right? So I can break up, doesn't mean I have to owe you half my stuff. Now, there are some states where there's some laws that says I might have to break bread a little bit, but not as much.
Depending on how long, because it's common law.
And exactly. Depending on how long we're together and all that, it just really depends. But I see nothing wrong with it. And if you really think about the whole concept of marriage,
right?
My viewpoint is this, and it's not popular. Doing an actual ceremony does not make your love stronger than anyone else's. There's a lot of divorced people who love each other, so love has nothing to do with it. Marriage is about property and stuff. If you can pull the plug on me legally because you're my wife, you can come in the room and do it. If you're not my wife, you can't pull the plug. You might not get all my stuff. All of my property might go to my next of kin and not to you. And so that's why you do the whole marriage thing. It's more of a legal contract.
It's legal, yes.
It doesn't make it all about love. And so I think let's just be honest about that. Like, living together does not change anything. The same person you live with and loved, it's the same when you get married. It's just now it takes you need lawyers to get out of it.
Which makes it a little harder to just walk away. Well, at least it used to, because what do we see nowadays? A lot of people getting divorced very easily, right? But even like the U.S. Census Bureau, I came across this article, right, that said only 34% of people 15 years or older are married, right? Which is, 34% of people 50 years or older have never been married, sorry. They've never been married, which is up from 23% back in 1950. Now, in 1950, you're talking about the Leave It to Beaver days, right? So that's the thing. Father knows best. You know, the man is always right. I mean, okay, some things never change. But that just the point is, have times really changed? Because recent survey, I want to make sure I get this right since I misread those other quotes right there. New survey said 40% of young adults up through the age of 40, so anybody from 18 to 40 is I guess what they thought, or 21 to 40, say that they believe marriage is an outdated tradition. And who do you think has that more, the men or the women?
Who do I think says it's outdated more?
Yeah.
So men or women? Women.
Well, you'd be right, because 41% of young men say that, but 52% of young women. Is this what they meant by, equal rights and justice for all and freedom to not get married?
Well, if they're comparing stats from the 1950s to today, you got to look at a few things. A lot more educated women and a lot more women in the workforce, and a lot more women at executive level positions. So
making
the women,
more money than some men.
Yeah, they're not as dependent on a male as they used to be. True. So there's that. You got to also factor in LGBTQ plus, trans folks. In the 1950s, if you were gay, you just didn't tell anybody. You just went to special places and did some things and went back to your wife. Now you can actually be happy and be yourself and be with who you want to be with.
Right.
You might not be married to him, but at least you're not living the lie and building up the stats of marriage like they did in the 1950s, even though you weren't really married.
So the stats were skewed, is what you're saying. Back then.
Yeah, just padding the stats a little bit. That's all I'm saying. So I think it's a very different world in the 1950s than it is now. And also, I think the other thing is that a lot of people's goals is not to reproduce and have children. Right. As much as it was in the 50s. That was everybody's goal. As soon as you were 14, 15, 16, all right, let's start having a family. And that has changed in the decade that we're in now. So I think those could be reasons why. Of course, I'm no expert, but I do think you have to factor that stuff in.
Interesting that you say that because, so back to some of these stats, 38% of young adults say they felt judged for not being married yet, and 25% have felt judged for moving in with their partner. Now, you and I were the last of the Mohicans from our crew, from the UTSA crew. We're the last of the Mohicans with, now you're just the last Mohican, but, without kids and without a wife, right? And or kids or a wife.
Let's put a caveat to that. I was the last of the Mohicans that have never done it, but we're all back in the same dating pool now. Minus not everybody, majority of them, they're back in these waters.
Yeah, but they had either a kid or they had a wife. Yeah, so that's what I said. We were the last to have a wife, last to get have a kid, right? And I've done both, and that's why I say you're the last Mohican, even if you have some of them back in the dating pool. But the difference is there were times when people. I remember a woman saying to me, "Well, you're not," just because she was mad because I didn't say what she wanted to hear. Well, you're 30. I was like maybe 32, 33, and you don't have any kids. What's wrong with you? I don't have a wife yet. What's wrong with that? But that was my train of thought. Is that didn't make it was wrong for you to have kids because you didn't have a husband.
I agree. I've said the same argument. Well, you're 40, divorced twice with 3 kids. What's wrong with you?
She goes both ways.
It does. And I do think there's a level of, I wouldn't call it intentional shaming, but there is this idea that you've not been married, you don't have children, thus you don't know X. And that's why I always joke when we're doing our reality shows, like, I know Yanni, I've not been married, I don't have kids, I can't shoot beams of light out of my fingers, and I don't have this level of wisdom. But there is a little bit of a condescending attitude around that. I remember when I was living in, I won't even say where, because then the people, if they listen to this, they know I'm talking about them. But I was living in another area, and there was these 2 couples. One couple had been married. They started dating maybe a year or 2 and then got married. So been together like 3 years, maybe 4. The other couple, not married, living together, but they've been together for 7+ years. And the one who was married was like, well, you wouldn't understand because you're not married. And I remember the other girl was like, well, I've been with him a lot longer than you've been with your husband. So what difference does it make? And I was just like, got him. She's right. But I mean, I think that's the mindset, because you've not been married, you've not done this, thus you don't know what you're talking about, or you might not understand. And so I think there is a little bit of a little turn up the nose to people who have never been married.
There is that marriage bias. And it's one of the things like, and you see that in so many different facets of life, right? From jobs to fraternities and sororities. When people cross, all of a sudden their nose goes all the way up in the air, head chins up, and like, yo, seriously, it doesn't make you a better person just because you got letters on your chest now, right? But the other thing is, same thing with marriage, and we saw that in Summer House, Martha's Vineyard, and you remember Jasmine had a whole different mentality because she was a wife now, because that title gives people this feeling. But again, in this day and age, man, I mean, people are going, well, I don't want to be divorced. Well, nobody goes into a marriage saying I want to be divorced. Everybody's in love in the beginning. Right. Unless it's a shotgun wedding. But everybody's in love in the beginning. And it's great. You just got to have that stick-to-itiveness to make it through, because guess what? It's not always going to be roses. Even in just a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, there's a reason why every relationship you get into didn't last 10, 12 years.
I thought it was like awesome when I watched it on TV. I mean, marriage is like you wake up, fresh morning breath, look at each other, good morning to you, and then you start kissing, make out, you get each other coffee, she puts on your work dress shirt, and nothing else, and you have on some pajamas, whatever. I mean, they make it look like it's amazing, and they don't show a lot of that, and they don't. A lot of people don't talk about that. When I ask, and it's funny, I think there's a difference between men and women. When I talk to my women friends, let's say they recently get married. Hey, how is it? How's married? Like, oh, it's wonderful. I'm with my best friend. This is great. When I ask my guys, minus you, this doesn't apply to you because I don't want you to get in no trouble. It doesn't apply to you. Most of my guy friends, when they get married, I ask, hey, so how's married life? They're like, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I mean, could you imagine?
I feel like I have the cheat code. I mean, I get it. Every day is not the bells and roses. But whenever my wife says, "What's wrong with you?" I'm just like, "Hey, you've been saying that since our first date. So you said I do."
This is it. Well, what's crazy to me is to believe that at some point, up till recently, it's still illegal for single people to live together, technically, right? And Michigan just passed it to where it's not illegal to be living together, right? But this is 2023. Wow. There's only one state left.
Let me guess. It's not New York. No, it's definitely not California. That's
easy.
No. I would say Texas, and I would even say Florida. Because those two are where a lot of the nonsense happens. But something tells me it's not in the Southwest and it's not in the fingertip of America. Where is it? Where down south is it? Which southern state is it?
M-I, crooked letter I, crooked letter I, humpback. Mississippi.
No surprises.
Yeah, Mississippi is still, you get a fine for each party and up to 6 months in jail for living with someone that you're not married to. So I wonder if there's like a little dotted line under that or a little asterisk that says, well, if they're different races, then we're going to apply this.
Unless you're the white man.
If you're black and white living together, we're going to put a stop to that. You're going to go to jail. But for Michigan, I mean, that's just crazy how this is a thing in 2023. But for all the what do y'all call them? Michiganders. Shack up. It's okay.
It's okay now. You've desegregated from the South, and now only one Southern state is left. And let's not be fooled. America is America, okay? Let's not be fooled by the Southern states and the Northern states and the Midwest. And it's all the same.
When the census people come by your house, stop saying that's your sister. That's your girlfriend. That's not your cousin living with you. Y'all aren't just roommates.
This is
that's
my tenant.
Your girlfriend.
They're renting out a room. It's a one bedroom. Yes, they're renting out half the room.
Yeah, it's like that census person. Let me get this right. You and your brother have a 1-bedroom apartment. Got it.
Hey, we're conserving energy. Well, speaking of conserving energy, I think you've been saving up for this because you usually don't go on this apology tour, but as we get into For the Love of Sports, you're going to have to hop off your high horse. Because you said to me last week, you know what? I think I owe someone an apology. Sir, the floor is yours.
All right. This is the first and last. Actually, let me just change that. It's not. Might not be a last. Here's my deal. If I have the gall to come out here and make fun of someone that's a celebrity or entertainer publicly,
right?
When I admit I'm wrong, I feel like I can do the same thing publicly, and I think that shows growth. So, Sha'Carri Richardson, I apologize. So, for those that might not be aware, a year or two ago,
hold up, I got to applaud you first. Not just for the apology, but for pronouncing her name correctly. Continue.
Yeah, I did practice before we recorded this. I was in the mirror like Sha'Carri. I was trying everything. Yeah, which one is it? Not Sha'Carri? Okay, Sha'Carri Richardson. So Sha'Carri Richardson is a phenomenal athlete. Got into a little bit of trouble because she was potentially going to go to the Olympics. Tested positive for marijuana, which all of us agreed.
Not potentially. She won the nationals in 100.
She was going to go to the
record for
Olympics,
America,
but because she tested positive for marijuana, which was crazy because we did not make her run faster. Like we did a show about this. We talked about it. Now, where I started jumping on the bandwagon of people against Sha'Carri Richardson was how she handled it and her attitude and all these different things. I was like, what's your deal? Yeah, at one point, okay, I get it. It sucks. Play the game, make the changes you got to make, come back out and win. And so she's had an uphill battle, and she, I think it was a couple weeks ago, she ran, and I think she won the 100.
Yeah,
and I said, and you were like, she even said, I'm not just back, I'm better, and all this other stuff. And that's when she started talking about how U.S. national track doesn't pay, athletes and all that stuff. And so I made the comment, well, she still hasn't beat Jamaica, so whatever. It's great until you beat Jamaica.
That's right. That was the national championships, right?
Yeah.
Where she won the 100, didn't win the 200, which I was glad to see Gabby Thomas beat her in the 200 because she talked trash about Gabby and them at the Olympics. And well, when they were going to the Olympics, like, well, they got all these other people going that I beat. Not anymore.
Yeah.
But yes. Continue.
Sorry. So then she comes out. She not only does she beat Sha'Carri Jackson of Jamaica, but her interview afterwards, she handled with poise, with grace. Like, that's the leader. That's the champion I want to see. So I apologize, Sha'Carri Richardson, for being one of many others who were talking trash about you. You proved us wrong. You proved me wrong. And I'm rooting for you.
We had a big discussion about this in the office the other day, too, because so Alton, who's on the show with me, is a producer on the show with me, and he is a big Sha'Carri fan. So every time she wins a race, he's sending it to me in the group text, sending me in my text messages. Here, look, she won again. What you got to say now? She's got to do it when it counts, and that's the only thing I'm saying. Even beating Sha'Carri Jackson in that race in Europe, it's like just this weekend. Sha'Carri Jackson lost in the 100, and Tolu, who is from, I want to say, she's from Africa, and I can't remember which country. I'm mad at myself for not remembering this, but beat Sha'Carri Jackson there. But you can see Sharika's been running a lot, and she's slowed down because you got to get ready for the World Championships. Don't put it all out there because you need to win when it matters, and that's the thing I think that's out there right now. I'm happy for Sha'Carri. Why? Because this is going to bring so many more eyes to the women's 100 and 200, and especially the 4x100. You know, that relay is the one that everybody loves to see who's going to win, because it's not just about the individual, it's the team, right? It's the country versus country, and we've been waiting for this showdown between America and Jamaica again. And when they had a chance to put her on the team, they didn't for the Olympics. Well, now she'll be there. This is going to make the World Championships next month exciting. I can't wait.
Well, I mean, I'm not that still excited about track and field, but all I just wanted to say was, hey, I talk trash on our platform publicly. I want to apologize publicly. Will I watch the other race? Who knows?
You Maybe. Will. If not, you'll watch the replay on YouTube.
I'll watch the replay on YouTube, sure.
I will say this. I want to point this out before we move on to Sha'Carri Jackson. I want to talk about just how dope she is, right? Because she was a 400-meter runner. And as a former 400-meter runner, nowhere on her level. I know how hard it is to run a 400, but she went from 400 to 100 and 200. She's an amazing athlete because this year she's run the fastest 100-meter time of any woman this year. And she, again, a former 400-meter runner. This is big. So this is going to be a good showdown between her, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, who's coming off of injury. She's back out there running now, so she'll be in the World Championships. Elaine Thompson-Herah, she'll be there as well. It's going to be an amazing World Championships. You know, I'll remind you. I'll let you know when to watch.
Yeah, I'm sure you will, because I'm sure we'll talk about it. Because you are a diehard track and field fan, where I'm just like, whatever. But I will. I still will hold her accountable just like I would anybody. So this doesn't mean that no matter what she says from here on out, she gets a pass. Right. No, all I'm saying is I apologize, and she's changed my mind about her.
Well, that's good.
Today. She can change it back. She can change it back.
Real fast.
Yeah.
Look, I'm happy for her. So I'm excited to see that. Something else happy about, too. Jamie Foxx He's finally speaking, even though people are now saying, is that really Jamie Foxx or is that AI Jamie Foxx?
That's an actor. It's a clone.
I saw a meme today that said, I've missed the days when AI only meant Allen Iverson. Me too.
Yeah. I mean, I was happy to see him speak out. And this is all everyone's been asking. I'm still annoyed by it. And it's good to see that he's recovering. But my whole issue with him from the beginning of this is you're an A-list celebrity. Right. You have a lot of people that are asking about you. If this story came out about Jim Gaffigan, you probably don't even know who Jim Gaffigan is. But he's not an A-list celebrity.
I've seen his name
right. He's not an A-list. He's a comedian. But he's not a celebrity, right? But Jamie Foxx is a name, right?
Yes.
All these rumors going around, he could have shut that down if he wanted to. Yeah. For whatever reason, he didn't. And that leads me to believe that a lot of these entertainers, celebrities are some attention whores. And so they don't do anything or say anything because they want to keep I get it. But
the man was sick.
I get it. Week 1, week 2, week 3, week 6, week 7. Week 8, when he's in Mexico and getting in cars, everybody's spotting him. Yeah. Say something, because there's a lot of people making a lot of speculation, and you have people doing saying it was because of COVID-19 and the vaccine. I mean, there's just so many rumors that went around that he could have stopped it if he really wanted to. And that's the one thing I don't like about how late it is. It's almost too little, too late, but yet good, recover, get well. Eventually, he'll do a stand-up telling jokes about this. And it'll be hilarious. All I'm saying is you could have shut down all the rumors and concern that everybody had thinking you were dying if he wanted to. He just did it.
Let's not lose in this, that the timing of him actually speaking out. They cloned Tyrone just came out on Netflix this weekend. Right when he made his... Hey, thank y'all. I didn't want y'all to see me like this. I didn't want y'all to see me when I was looking bad and when I had tubes coming all out of me. But like I said, if you had spotted... Now, some of those people that they spotted weren't him. But if some of them were him, right? Then you're right. He should have spoken out almost immediately, thanked everybody in that space. Great to do it now, but you're right. I totally agree with you. He should have done it earlier. The only thing and this is where I feel this comes in, is the sense of... I know we always feel like we need to know. We don't always need to know. And I like the fact that his family kept all that stuff airtight, right? It's the same thing when you think of like Chadwick Boseman. Nobody knew what was going on with him because his team and his family kept it airtight.
Jamie Foxx's family didn't keep it airtight because his daughter was the one that leaked that he was in the hospital anyway.
Right.
And then when we're trying to get clarity, all of a sudden she's airtight. Yeah. So all I'm saying is it makes it makes it seem a little sus, as the young people say. It makes it seem sus. And if he's doing well, great. If this winds up being some type of lie, publicity kind of thing, great. All I'm saying is I can't handle being Carlee Russell twice in a year. I can't take that. One Carlee Russell's enough. I don't need Jamie Foxx to be a story that was BS. All the hype up a movie, so that's all I'm saying.
I don't think it was BS, and especially like people saying it's probably not him. Ice-T came out and was like, "Look, the man was sick. That's why he looks a little different. Some of y'all look really different after just a chest cold. So stop it." Well, you brought up Carlee Russell, which was the talk of the country for the last week, and the story changed and evolved over time and more. Now people are, her boyfriend's finally coming out asking people to stop bullying her. What's going on here?
So the boyfriend comes out pleading with people to not bully her amid the speculation about her abduction. So we all know the highlights of the story. She tries to say that she saw some toddler out on the highway, followed him for 600 yards, and then goes missing.
So she watched a Kevin Hart special and then
kidnapped, all this other stuff, comes back naked with money in her sock, all kind of craziness that the story just gets weirder and weirder. And so at one point, the boyfriend removed himself and removed her from his social media.
Right.
Now he's pleading for people to stop bullying her. And he says, the only thing I can say is I want everyone to stop bullying her. I know what it seems like what she did. Just stop bullying on social media. Think about her mental health. She doesn't deserve that. She doesn't. Nobody deserves to be cyberbullied. Well, nobody deserves to be lied to about a toddler in the highway that you followed for 600 yards and then you go missing saying you were kidnapped. And all these people will put in all this effort, dollars, and prayers to try to find you just for you to show back up at the house and be like, oh, no, we're good. They let me go and gave me some money. Stop it.
This sounds like when I heard she showed back up at the house, I'm like, we just talked about this. This is the Houston kid, right? This, like, what is this? And then people found the Kevin Hart clip, and there was a baby. And they're like, baby, what are you? And I'm like, oh, so she saw that. That, you know, it's the damning thing was them going through and finding all her search history, right?
Yep.
Like, people, let me explain something to you. Nothing you do on the internet is private. Okay? Remember that.
Nothing.
Plain and simple. It's not. It's not private. It's not personal. It's not yours. You get on Beyonce's internet because, you know, they say it's Beyonce's internet. It doesn't belong to you anymore. But the thing that he's asking people to stop bullying her, the thing that he's not saying is, hey, ladies, I am her boyfriend. Stay out of my DMs. Because these women are bold in his DMs right now. They're even posting it on social to show that they're sliding in, just like the guys were sliding into Keke Palmer's DMs when her man was acting up. Women are sliding into his DMs. You know, I will never fake a kidnapping on you. Leaving them voice notes. I'm like, come on, man. Y'all serious?
Yeah, it's serious. And, you know, here's the interesting thing is, you would expect the family and the boyfriend to be as supportive as they are because that's what families do. That's what your loved ones do. So even if the family realize she's lying, what are they going to say? Yeah. Oh, yeah, Carl, I don't know what's going on with her. She crazy. You know, and just throw her to the wolves. They're going to try to protect her. So I hope she gets whatever help, mental help that she needs, counseling, therapy. But she's got some issues to have done this whole thing. And for the boyfriend, you got to let her go. You know, you just got to let her go. As they say, you got to let go and let God work that one out.
He's staying with her in the public eye for now until things finally come out and the best things. Because nobody really knows what. There's a lot of speculations to everything. It's like, well, she was doing it to get his attention. She was doing it for this. She was, you know, but she had a lot of bigwigs coming to her to her defense when she was missing, right? Quote unquote missing. Tina Knowles, you know, Beyonce's mom. You know, you had Tamika Mallory. All these folks coming out, speaking out. And then, of course, now they've got egg on their face. Come to find out this thing because the police are like, yeah, nah. The only thing we knew about Hoover, Alabama before was that damn football team that was so amazing, right? Now we know Carlee Russell.
Well, yeah. So that's what's funny is when she left her phone behind, it makes sense why she didn't realize that she was blowing up on social media. But how dumb is that at the end of the day? So it's crazy. If the boyfriend has to totally let her go at some point, because I couldn't trust her for anything going forward. It's like, where were you at? I was at McDonald's, got some nuggets. Which McDonald's?
Which McDonald's?
Show me the receipt.
I need the receipt.
Mm-hmm. No. Show me camera footage of you being at the McDonald's. Let me taste these nuggets. These aren't McDonald's nuggets. These are Chick-fil-A nuggets in a McDonald's box. Where were you, Carlee?
Well, okay, now that's blasphemy. There's no way that you confuse McDonald's nuggets and Chick-fil-A nuggets. I don't care how good of a liar you are.
Okay, where'd you get these Cheez-Its from? You got them from Target, or is this from the gas station?
All right, so don't forget, we're back on Tuesday, as we're now going to be back in our routine of getting to every episode of The Bachelorette instead of doubling up on the episodes. So that returns Tuesday night. So you have, give you a couple, a day to watch it and get caught up and be ready to join in.
And we can do it early. So now you can join us for the live a lot earlier. For those that are like, well, 9:15 is too late. 9:15 Central, 10:15 Eastern. So now we'll be doing it early. So you got plenty of time. No reason you can't join us.
Yeah, so 8 o'clock Central, Eastern, 7 o'clock Central on Tuesday, we'll go ahead and do the Bachelorette episode 5 with the live stream.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I'm Yanni Rude.
And I'm just Terryl.
Make sure you follow us at Yanni Rude, at Just Terryl, and at RGRT Pod.
Yeah, send us some of your random thoughts or some of the bullshit you find on the internet. We'll talk about it on the show.
It's the Regular Guys Random Thoughts Podcast. Cheers.
Cheers.